If you're going to participate in a dance fight, make sure you have room for expressive arm movements. This rules out most bathrooms as a suitable venue. Awesome Today is a mostly daily podcast. Or, it might be part of a double-blind study conducted by the CIA, effectively an extension of old mind control studies like MKUltra. If you don't like it, please continue to listen anyway, so that our data gathering is not compromised.
Hi.
And good day.
How are you?
It's Saturday. I'm fantastic.
It's great.
I am not wearing my traditional Saturday garb, which is a bathrobe as long as possible, mainly because we're recording on Friday.
Yeah, we are. It's kind of throwing me off because today is March the 13th, but it's a Saturday the 13th, but in my mind I want to say Happy Friday the 13th.
There's a lot of conflicty things going on.
A lot going on here. We got a lot to get into.
There's several things to get through, so we should not mess about.
We should neither dilly nor dally.
Indeed, which you're doing now.
Anniversary today of the election of the Holy Father, Pope Francis. Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, in case you
this
like
year.
To know that.
No, not that part.
Stop it. He chose the name Francis in honor of St. Francis of Assisi, a special saint to us.
That's the
go-to
parish.
Yes.
It's a shrine, right?
The shrine of St. Francis of Assisi, because one of his relics is in the altar of our church. Now, Pope Francis is the first Jesuit pope. That made huge headlines. I didn't even know what Jesuits were, but I remember the ripples of conversation through the blogosphere.
Well, it's the Black Pope and all, right?
Well, yes.
And not a racial thing.
No, it's a whole thing.
About a different thing.
Yeah, first Jesuit pope. First pope from the Americas, and the first pope from the Southern Hemisphere. And today he celebrates his 8th anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
In the seat of St. Peter. So, yes, let's all pray for the Holy Father today.
I'm sure he could use it.
Yes.
Every
certainly.
day if you got the spare time.
Yeah. Okay, today, not only anniversary for Pope Francis, we're going to take a little bit of a turn here. Little corner.
Small corner. It's nowhere near 90 degrees.
No.
It's like when you're going down a curvy road.
Yeah.
And Siri keeps telling you to turn right, but really it's just a curve in the straight road.
Yes.
It's really agitating.
That's exactly the moment we're in right now. Today is National Good Samaritan Day. So if you are unfamiliar with this, the term Good Samaritan.
I am unfamiliar. What might it be?
You're not.
I'm not.
It comes from a parable.
I'm not a good Samaritan either.
Yes, you are. You like for people to think, oh, he would never be a good Samaritan. But in the reality is, inside this hard exterior is a
giant idiot.
Nope, a squishy, smushy, soft and chewy center.
I don't know.
Most people don't get to see it, but I do. Anyway, Good Samaritan comes from a parable in the Bible where a Samaritan person helped a stranger, a Jewish person actually, an Israelite, who had been robbed, beaten, and left to die.
So it's a trifecta.
We have a lot to get through, so I'm gonna not go down the trail of discussing the importance of the story of the Good Samaritan, but the term describes acts of kindness for those in need, especially those who are strangers. Now, this is related to a very well-known story in the annals of true crime history. Catherine Kitty Genovese, something like that, was murdered on March 13th, this day, March 13th, 1964 in New York City. That night, her murderer was twice interrupted and witnessed by neighbors and passers-by, none of whom bothered to help or even call for help. It was on the murderer's third attempt that he was successful. So this holiday was established to honor Kitty, encourage everyone to understand just how meaningful your help might be. So to celebrate the day, you could make an effort to help someone. You could share a story of when someone helped you.
Yes, and what does not count is if you yourself have robbed, beaten, and left someone to die and then rescued them. It doesn't count.
Don't go down that path.
No.
Okay.
Well, it's also, I'd only bring this up because these stories, these things thus far, and the majority of the episode has a more positive tilt. So I feel like there's a need to drag some, hey, wait a damn minute. things into the perspective. Today is National Open an Umbrella Indoors Day.
Why? Why would you do that?
And that's not as easy to say as you might think. I would encourage all of you to try to say that really quickly, once, thrice, whatever, right? But in any event, anybody who knows anything knows that this is the surefire way to suffer bad luck.
Hell yeah.
And in fact, the holiday doesn't claim, oh, well, this is the day you can do it without bad luck. No. They're encouraging you to perform the act and then to document the bad luck that befalls you. It's a really lazy-ass research project.
No.
And to the researchers, I think you're lazy. You are certainly no good Samaritans. Sir, you're no good Samaritan. And to the experiment, I say damn no.
The only reasonable response, honestly.
Yes.
If it's your birthday today, first of all, happy birthday. You happen to share it with, I'm sorry to tell you, you may already know this, science fiction author and creator of the Church of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard.
Well, no offense to the Scientologists out there.
Offense all around if you're a Scientologist.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to get canceled by Scientology now.
That's fine.
No, it's not.
No, because they'll
You are
murder
completely unaware of the way that they muck about.
They will muck up your life. They will actually probably murder you, kidnap you, bad things.
Something.
Don't do it.
Don't go to Florida. Clearwater, Florida?
Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah,
How'd
stay
you
away.
know? How'd you remember that?
I remember all the things that don't help me in life.
Okay, you also share your birthday today with Adam Clayton, the bass player for U2. Even our teenage daughters know who U2 is, so hopefully, hopefully they've made that big of an impression. You also share it with actress Kaya Scodelario, who you might recognize from roles in Pirates of the Caribbean, Maze Runner, and also Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
So happy birthday all around to you, March 13th, babies.
Indeed. 1930. This is a big one. This may be the biggest one, the most important one of the episode. 1930, Clyde Tombaugh, an astronomer at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, discovered Pluto.
Did he now?
He had been somehow inspired to look past Uranus in order to find it. And why would he be looking at Uranus to begin with? Well, because also today, in 1781, William Herschel was actually the first to ever observe Uranus. It took that long for astronomers to quit looking at it, to look beyond and find other planets. Or at least to find Pluto.
Is that just endlessly funny for you?
I'm borderline 7th grade, and I take no shame in my enjoyment of that planetary name.
I hate to be insensitive, but
I'm not hearing you. I know what you're going to say, and I'm not hearing you.
Isn't Pluto the planet that's not a planet anymore?
La 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 la. What? Never mind.
Did Pluto cancel us?
Listen.
The Plutonians have canceled us.
On behalf of Plutuno, I will cancel you. Was that Spanish for Pluto? I don't know. I doubt it. My apologies to all the Spanish-speaking people. I really don't know the language, just a few really bad words.
But at least we have our... What's it called? Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone. Guess what I got as an aside?
What?
I got an email from Duolingo, which we tinkered around with before we got Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
And it said Duo is sad because I hadn't been logging in and taking lessons.
Just out of the blue, you got that
out
email?
Out of the blue. I was like, screw you, Duolingo. I don't need this crap from you.
I've got Rosetta Stone now.
I've got 5 kids. So there's that.
1938, Louis Armstrong and his orchestra record When the Saints Go Marching In. Great song, great orchestra.
Indeed, on both accounts.
Yes, thank you, Louis.
1961. 3 men, 2 women go on trial in the United Kingdom, or the UK in layman's terms. Some of the accused had worked at the underwater weapons establishment in Dorset.
That sounds very official.
And the entirety of the group had been charged with spying for, guess who? Oh, that's right, the Russians.
I really thought we were going down the path of the CIA. But we're with the Russians now.
I feel like overseas the two are the same thing, but I could be wrong. The trial lasted for 2 weeks, which isn't that long. One of the things it turns out that was leaked or sold to the Russians were the plans for Her Majesty's ship Dreadnought, which was Britain's first nuclear submarine. Now, all 5 accused were found guilty, sentenced to terms up to 20 years. Here are the key takeaways from this.
There's a lot packed into this little factoid.
There's some important things.
Yes.
It's important to have takeaways.
It is.
Otherwise, you take nothing away, as the language would suggest.
Yes.
Number 1, they were accused and convicted of breaking the Official Secrets Act. I appreciate the straightforwardness of the Brits. They had a rule about sharing official secrets. And if you had questions about, hey, I'd like to do this, but is it okay? Is it legal or not? Well, it's really easy to look up. It's called the Official Secrets Act.
I secretly feel like the Official Secrets Act is part of the Potterverse.
It might be.
Sounds like something that would happen in a Harry Potter novel.
I believe one of the authors went under the pen name of Dingledorf, which is close enough one might suspect there's a connection. I don't know. Number 2. The Brits have an underwater weapons establishment.
Right?
That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard of.
Seriously?
And while we're all over here pretending like UFOs don't exist, they've got an underwater research facility.
I mean, to be fair, they are an island country, so maybe the underwater aspect is,
I think,
bigger for them than it would be for us.
we have more coastline than they do.
Well, by miles, yes, that would have to be true.
So surely, if we'd get our act together, we too could have an underwater research
I
facility.
can't believe that we don't.
Further still, they named a submarine Dreadnought, and that's a freaking amazing name.
It is. Yep.
If I hadn't already named my Jeep Lola, I would consider Dreadnought.
Yeah, it's a strong contender.
Although it would need to be a different color, I feel like. Maybe flat black.
Ooh, let's put that in our back pocket.
Okay.
Save it for a rainy day.
Okay.
In a black Jeep.
Number 3, and this might even be the most valuable of the takeaways.
Okay.
With the worst sentence being handed down, being only 20 years, I would strongly suggest that if espionage is a career that you're considering,
Yeah.
the UK looks to be one of the stronger risk-reward profiles for doing so.
20 years is nothing.
It's nothing, especially if you got a really good price for the secrets that you sold in violation of the Don't Sell the Damn Secrets Act.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
So,
Something to bear in mind for the future.
yeah, we try to help. We try to help here.
Try to help people get their feet situated on the path towards espionage.
Or-
It's like one of our mission statements at Awesome Today.
It is, secretly. It's part of the official secrets of Awesome Today.
Yes. 1986. What a year.
Mm-hmm.
Soviet cosmonauts departed Earth's atmosphere to rendezvous with the space station Mir
Mm-hmm.
and become its first occupants.
Right on.
Now, mysteriously, they were seen hours before the launch deboarding a plane at LAX and catching a cab to a nameless studio out in Hollywoodland.
Knew it! I knew it. I'm
That-
glad you found this.
That last bit of information was supplied to us by the Flat Earth Society, so
They're,
just full disclosure.
so far, they've not led us too far astray. 1990. An off-duty policewoman and her dog were sucked up by a tornado.
Dear Lord, does that actually happen to people?
Evidently, yes.
Okay.
And you're asking next, how is that awesome?
How is that awesome?
I'll tell you how it's awesome. They were carried 25 feet through the air, surrounded by debris, branches, and mud all whirling about,
Yeah.
as things do.
Yes.
And then they are dropped back to the ground. The dog, 0 injuries.
Wow.
The policewoman, minor bumps and bruises.
That's amazing.
And that is amazing, and it is awesome because everyone knows that this is not what tornadoes are known for.
Can you remind the good people of Awesome Today fam what you should do?
Well, according to my second grade lesson from
Yes.
Lee, whose last name I will withhold,
Yes.
his mom's boyfriend indicated to him, which Lee
Yes.
shared with us,
Yes.
if a tornado's coming,
Yep.
you go out
Where now?
onto the west side of the house. You grab your ankles, pull your head between your legs, and kiss your ass goodbye. That is exactly, in fact, what we drilled in the 2nd grade.
Oh, tornado drills are a real thing, and
Yes, they
that's
are.
worthy of a whole other episode.
Yes.
But that's the advice I cherish the most.
It's real. It meets the people where they're at.
That's right, yes. It's what we will instill in our children. 1997, visible in the skies over Arizona, Nevada, and the Mexican state of Sonora, thousands of people, not a couple of dozen,
Right.
thousands, report seeing a V-shaped UFO. Wait, what
or
do we call it now?
UAP.
UAP. And now it's...
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
I cannot make that land in my
Well,
brain.
you
We've talked about it so many times.
Plainly aren't committed to the cause.
Apparently. Now, among the claimants was Arizona's own governor, Fife Symington. That name sounds like it's straight out of a video game.
It does.
Fife
It does.
Symington?
And
it's
I
even
can't-
spelled Symington.
Oh, he's undoubtedly an alien posing as a human.
Now, the phenomena is actually known as the Phoenix Lights,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly. The military attempted to play off the happenings, insisting that what people were seeing were simply flares dropped by an aircraft that was conducting, guess what, a training exercise.
those
It's
Damn confusing training exercise.
it's always a training exercise.
Oh, it's the rookies. Blame the rookies. They dropped the flares in the wrong spot.
Yep, that's right. Well, we have a big whatever for that.
FNGs, I believe, is what the military refers to as rookies.
Oh, effing new guys?
Yes.
Okay, I just guessed that out of my brain.
It was correct.
Now, this same thing happened again in 2007, so a decade later happens again, to which the military, they're like, it happened again.
Same thing. Remember last time?
Remember about those FNGs and their flares?
Yeah.
Happened again. Well, then it happened again the very next year in 2008, and the military this time changed their story, insisting that it was flares attached to helium balloons released by a civilian.
Damn civilian new guys. CNGs.
Now, observers of this original event insisted that the light-emitting object that they saw was solid and that blocked out much of the starry sky as it passed overhead. Like, that's significant,
Right.
you
That
guys.
means it ain't flares.
That is not a flare. I don't care what the military tries to tell you. Others reported watching the so-called flares, even performing a banking maneuver. Now, I'm
Yes.
not great with flares. I've never seen one in real life. But what I understand from pop culture, flares are not going to be able to bank and they can't drive themselves.
Right. Now, I know this could possibly come as a surprise to you.
Yeah.
I personally know, one, a lot of people. Two, one of those many people I know was someone who was there, and they insist that they were, one, abducted, two, probed, three, released, and without so much as a thank you.
How dare they?
I mean, come on. Let's have a little interspecies
Decency.
for
Yes.
crying out lound.
Yes. Thank you for your service.
If you're not going to buy me dinner,
you can get that
fill
probe
in
all
the
the way away
blank.
from
Fill
me.
in the blank.
You can probe yourself. How about that?
Well, they may have been. Aliens
We
do
don't know.
as aliens are or something.
Yeah, we don't even know. Now, 2002, celebrity boxing aired on Fox.
Right on. I remember it.
I vaguely remember it. Now, among those fights featured on celebrity boxing, Vanilla Ice suffered a defeat. Now, experts later agreed that when you are boxing or participating in any kind of pugilism, you put this word into the notes. I vaguely
It's a
knew
great word.
that it is a classic word, vintage word for boxing. But if you're participating in any kind of pugilism, you got stopping to collaborate or listen is an ineffective strategy. It can even
Yes.
be detrimental.
Yes, as it was for young Vanilla.
Yes.
Or middle-aged Vanilla.
For
as it
Mr.
were.
Ice.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Ice, comma vanilla.
Let us all pause for a moment to contemplate the importance of not pausing.
Yes.
For any reason.
Don't stop to
Even if
collaborate.
it's collaborating and listening.
There are many occasions in life when you can stop to collaborate and listen. It behooves you to do
Yeah.
so, but boxing's not one of them.
Boxing's not one. None of the pugilistic sports. None of the martial arts.
Yeah.
And I would also venture to say none of the motorsports that exist.
That's fair, and that's a good observation.
Well, trending.
Yep.
Number 1.
We got a lot.
Our boy Matthew McConaughey is considering a run for Texas governor.
Is he now?
He is. He has inquired, in fact, if it would be all right to skip the mandatory drug test.
That's my favorite trending we've ever
It's
done
a good
on Awesome
trending.
Today.
It's a good
That's
trending.
my favorite thing. I will hold it in my heart with such fondness forever.
It's been like a week and a half and they've not replied to his email yet. So it's not looking good. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Another trending doesn't have to do with Twin Peaks, the evening time, kind of bizarro soap opera drama of the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly not Twin Peaks Restaurant, which encourages the objectification of the female waitstaff to flaunt their anatomy.
Don't do it.
Not even Twin Peaks. The trending thing is actually researchers are saying we've reached peak twindom.
Okay.
This was reported in the BBC.
Does that mean no more female anatomy?
No. Those Twin Peaks can continue on.
I hope so.
But the article, this is a true news article in the
Mm-hmm.
BBC, talked about the fact that since the 1980s, there's been a trend upwards in the number of twins born in sort of Western countries and nations.
Twin babies.
Babies.
Okay.
Not the boobies.
Yeah.
I'm talking babies, not boobs.
It's still a B word, but it's a different one.
Yes. As people have delayed starting families and have pursued more advanced fertility technology, the incidence of twins occurring has risen.
Multiples.
Well, this was talking, yes, multiples is fine, but they were talking about twins specifically.
Well, that's fine, but they left out a part of the equation. 3 through infinity.
Yes. Okay. Good point. In African and Asian countries, there has remained a steady number of twins. We discovered a lot of this when we found ourselves pregnant with twins.
Yes. It was a difficult pregnancy for me.
So hard. So difficult. So much throwing up for you.
I regularly had to pull your hair out of the toilet.
But truly, I thought this was interesting that African nations tend to have the highest incidence of naturally occurring twins in the world. They think that it's just like a genetic differentiation amongst people in the African continent.
Interesting.
And it's the kind of twins that are born from 2 separate eggs.
Okay.
Dizygotic.
Yeah, not identical.
Yes, the non-identical fraternal twins, dizygotic. Our twins are monozygotic, which means they were one egg that split into 2 different embryos.
I don't know if that speaks more to the strength of you or the strength of me.
We've deliberated and debated this
Yes.
for a long time. Anyway, through the past couple of decades, as Western nations have pursued fertility treatments that tend to result in more multiple pregnancies, specifically twins, that number has been rising. However, they looked at a segment of the past decade and they're thinking, okay, it seems like the numbers are really, like we've reached our peak number of twins and now we might be on the downward slide.
Interesting.
As a twin mom, that was fascinating to me.
Yeah. It's good to know.
Yes.
Well, trending number 3. Since the Oprah Winfrey interview, polls have indicated that Meghan and Harry, or as some people may refer to them, Meghan and Mr. Meghan, their approval numbers have plunged.
How dare you? Okay.
Plunged. I'm not the one who did this.
The Mr. Meghan part, I was swallowing, so I couldn't say how dare you at the appropriate time.
He was definitely just an extension of her, as I understand it.
You didn't watch it, and I did. But
Maybe,
let's keep going. Let's talk numbers.
Maybe I did.
I don't think you did.
Maybe I did.
I don't think you did.
You'll never know. For the first time ever, Harry has a higher percentage of people disapproving of him than approving of him. It is shifted to 48 and 45% respectively.
Interesting.
For him, it was a 15-point downward swing from the week prior to the interview.
Okay, now that's fascinating.
Now, and I'm not trying to establish any personal feelings here.
Yeah.
I'm just stating the facts. Meghan is no stranger to the negative skew herself. But she also saw a similar swing further downward. It put her at 58% unfavorable and only 31% favorable.
Now, I'm curious, was this polling done in England?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
And when you look across different age groups, those in the 18 to 24 age bracket still, by thin margins, look more favorably than disfavorably.
So they've got Gen Z support.
Ish.
Gen Z?
They're teetering
Okay.
on the edge of losing Gen Z.
Well, Gen Z is, I hate to say it, but they're remarkably fickle, so we'll see
Well,
where that
you move to
goes.
the boomers, 65 and over, extremely not impressed.
Okay, well, that's not a
Extremely not impressed.
I feel no surprise about
Now,
that.
thank goodness, Queen Elizabeth continues to enjoy 80% approval.
God save the Queen. Everyone
And
loves
her
Queen
approval
Elizabeth.
rating.
Yes.
Yes. And Prince William and Princess Kate hold strongly at 75%.
This is all very fascinating.
It is.
Even here in America, the supermarket checkout line tabloids have different, like versions and variations of all of the things going on, different people on the covers.
It's one of the few places that we look beyond ourselves to be interested.
Yes. Yeah. Well, speaking of royalty.
And self-interest.
Yes, we don't have royalty here in America, but what we do have are celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
And we tend to get real invested in their fascinating celebrity lives.
Yeah.
So it bears mentioning that one Ms. J-Lo and one Mr. A-Rod, Jennifer Lopez and Aaron Rodriguez.
How have I never before recognized that we had a hyphenated couple? Each of them equally hyphenated in their naming.
Well, J-Lo and A-Rod, and their portmanteau is J-Rod.
Oh, that's filthy.
Oh, I didn't make it up. Anyway, you don't have to worry about it any longer because they have sadly ended their 2-year-long engagement.
Which makes both of them eligible if you are one of those lucky people that live in the very, very small pond in which all of these people fish.
They're back on the market, you guys. Back on the market.
Very well.
Supposedly because A-Rod is not known for his tendency towards monogamy, can we say?
Okay. I was going to ask if it was not known for his tendency towards domestic nonviolence, but I don't know.
No.
I'm not accusing him of anything. That often seems to be a theme that comes up in Hollywood breakups or famous breakups.
He's a professional sports ball guy, but it is baseball, not football. I feel like footballers tend to be more in the realm of domestic violence.
You are deeply misled. You would see a higher number of reports of that because the football roster is multiple times as large as any other sport.
Well, that's a good point. So just statistically
speaking, no.
Okay. Well, anyway, the main point is they're back on the market. If you are single and looking to mingle, now's your chance.
There you go. Go find that little small pool of availability. It's almost like, no, that's not awesome. I'm not going to go there. Never mind. I'm sorry.
And it bears mentioning Jennifer Lopez, also a twin mom. So she and I got that going for us.
Did she throw up at the Sack and Pack?
Was it the Sack and Pack? It's the Buy for Less.
The Buy for Less. Would she even dare darken the doors of the Buy for Less?
At least it was at the classy, the nice Buy for
I
Less.
feel like she shops at the Buy for More, and by shops I mean sends her personal shopper to the most expensive place possible just for the sake of flexing.
I don't know if she threw up in a grocery store bathroom when she was pregnant with her twins, but if she did...
How about a rest stop?
Maybe.
That's a special level of low.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm not saying you're a low person if you've done that. I'm saying it's a low feeling.
Yeah.
I have not thrown up at a rest stop. I've also never been pregnant. But I have thrown up at a bathroom in a public park, and that was pretty rank.
That's a story for another day.
I don't know that I'm ready to share it,
okay.
Other than just letting people know. Yes, I too have vomited in disgusting places. Moving ahead, it's time for Whirl. Watch, read, listen, lifestyle.
Let us whirl.
Well, definitely for something to watch. In reverence, in just sheer pleasure of Matthew McConaughey's potential run for governor, you could go watch Dazed and Confused.
You can and you should. It's highly entertaining.
It is. It's always good.
It's always good. The very first Matthew McConaughey film I saw was A Time to Kill, which is an adaptation of a John Grisham
Did he have
novel.
his shirt off at any point?
I feel like there was some shirtlessness.
I don't believe he's been in a movie where the shirt doesn't come off.
Yeah. I do remember this was in high school, I feel like, for me. First of all, I read
You took your shirt off for a movie?
No.
I would hope not.
I read all those John Grisham novels, all of them. And the film adaptations were a source of eternal delight for me. And I thought Matthew McConaughey in that role in A Time to Kill was a revelation.
You kind of wished you'd gone to whatever college he was at so you could have met him.
Whatever college he was at, which is the University of Texas at Austin.
And that's where you wanted to be so you could meet him.
I did at one time when I was in high school, very deeply want to go to UT. It wasn't in the cards for me.
It's not the place for those not involved in that small little pool of fishing.
That's true. I went to a little small university and found you.
Sad to say for you, you did.
Happily ever after. If you want to read something, I found a website that I cannot believe has not been a part of my life until now. I'm a little, how can I say this? Reluctant to share this with the Awesome Today fam because it may be so fascinating that they stop listening to Awesome Today. The name of the website is allthat'sinteresting.com.
This is not a source I've used to find things for the show, so you will not even be spoiling show content if you go read it.
Their tagline is something interesting to read every day. They have a variety of articles. They've got like trending news pieces from around the world. They've got crime reports. They've got pop culture, little tidbits, and basically, like the title says, interesting things to read. So I heard it mentioned on a podcast randomly today, looked it up, and I was like, oh, that is interesting. So allthat'sinteresting.com.
Fantastic. How about listening?
Okay, you guys, if you listen to Sort of Awesome, you will hear this in the future as an Awesome of the Week. I'm sorry to spoil it for you.
No, it's a sneak peek for those who would suffer through this show.
It's a sneak peek. I came across the most fascinating, incredibly well-produced podcast that I have seen in a hot minute. It is in the true crime genre. It's called The Opportunist. The premise of the show is when ordinary people find themselves doing basically deeply dark, depraved criminal things, but like they started out as a normal person. They took the opportunity came across their path, and they find themselves being criminals. The first season...
That's how it happened for me. Hey, you jabbed my ribs.
I did.
Hurt.
The first season is focused on a woman named Sherry Schreiner. Sherry Schreiner has now passed away, but she was a woman who formed for herself, created from scratch, an internet-based cult. She was like a cult leader.
Wow.
It is the intersection of conspiracy theories about reptile people.
It's not a conspiracy.
Deep state.
That's not a conspiracy.
Biblical end times.
Not a conspiracy.
Decoding biblical messages in the Bible.
Also not a conspiracy.
Aliens.
I think we've already proven that's not a conspiracy.
So
it's a true crime story?
Yes. And
in every facet.
Yes. So she created this sort of cult, and then people died as a result of the beliefs that she was teaching via YouTube. And
usually what happens with cults.
I mean, sometimes that does happen.
They never get celebrated until they've killed people.
That's
very true. Not good Samaritan.
That's very true. Anyway, this podcast is so well done. It's so fascinating. I can't stop listening to it. There's 6 or 7 episodes of this first season, the Sherry Schreiner story. But the idea is that they'll cover her story, and then they'll move on to tell the story of another person took the opportunity to become criminal in some way. Anyway, it was so good. It's so good. The Opportunist. I can't stop thinking about it.
All right. Listen to Louis Armstrong, whether you want to hear When the Saints Go Marching In or just anything else.
Yeah.
He is he's quite talented, as it were, for those who don't know. Additionally, if you are not participating in pugilism or motorsports, though probably safe-ish for normal everyday traffic, you could listen to Vanilla Ice, make your choices as to when and In fact, you may or may not stop to collaborate, listen, or otherwise.
Yep, that's right.
What about lifestyle?
I gotta throw in a plug for Sorta Awesome episode 283 that just dropped. It is our awesome list for spring 2021. It's filled with lifestyle goodness to the maximum.
We like the lists. We being humans, we like lists.
We love them.
So it sounds good. Another lifestyle thing, we just made a cigar order today because we enjoy those. Meg, you previously mentioned the Perdomo champagne.
I think that was on the last episode, but yes.
Possibly so.
Perdomo is a cigar maker.
Yeah. Former air traffic controller, very attentive to detail kind of guy. He's now runs a cigar company. He's not brand new into it. He's been doing it for a while. He's out of Florida, I believe, but has farms in Nicaragua. Is that right? I can't remember now. I think it's Nicaragua. I can't remember. Anyway, we previously ordered and enjoyed both the Sungrown and Maduro selections, and we then bought a single of the champagne, which you fell in love with. So I bought you a box of the champagnes today.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Also got some Gurkhas and a couple different offerings from AJ Fernandez. Probably a few weeks' time that will be here and be what's the word? Acclimated within the humidor and ready to smoke, and so we'll follow up with that. And I will likely bring up every day from between now and March 31st at least that Lola needs some love, and she's scheduled to get it. She's going to get a lift kit and tires and wheels and all kinds of stuff and things, and I'm just sitting here wringing my hands in anticipation, waiting for it. I've paid for half of that procedure to be complete. Call it plastic surgery for her if you wish. I don't care. It's actually metal surgery. But I'm excited about that. So that's going on. We have two other random lifestyles very close to home.
The first one, I need to tell you all that Kyle and I were upstairs finishing up our work day. The twins had been mucking around
even mucking about
in their bedroom. And we overheard one twin say to the other, "Hey, let's go in the bathroom for a dance fight. Let's go dance fight in the bathroom."
Yes. Well, I think it was a command from one to the other to say, "Get into the bathroom."
Yes.
So we can dance fight.
Yes. The main gist of the story is dance fighting
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom. You intervened quickly?
I did. I said, we don't dance fight, and especially in the bathroom. In fact, no fighting. I never imagined as a young man those would be parental words of wisdom coming from my mouth.
Yes. I secretly would like to engage in some dance fighting, so we'll see what happens with that.
Just not in the bathroom, please.
The bathroom seems like a limited
It is.
Space
it is. That. It's probably more in line with jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, maybe some Krav Maga, but dance fighting, I don't know that it's going to work there.
Yeah.
You need more space for elbow flaring and some things.
You need a lot more space.
Number 2, panty liners. And I know what you're thinking. What could Sorta Kyle possibly know about panty liners? And I'll be honest and tell you, not much. What I do know is that we received a bulk shipment of them, evidently, and at least one, if not 3, of the children have...
It's not the kids. It's one kid. It's Nico and the dogs.
And the dogs. Well, whoever the guilty parties are, we've spread them around as though we are the Hansel and Gretel of women's products, leaving a trail so that someone might find us. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
They're freaking everywhere. Nico likes to get in there. It's one of the things he can reach and get into in the bathroom, in the downstairs bathroom. So he does. He flings them around the house with joy and glee. And then the dogs were like, "Oh, if the baby can get away with it, we should do it too."
Now, fantastically, no one perforates the packaging.
No, they're still completely intact and totally hygienic.
So you have this dilemma. Well, do I use them? I've tried. They just don't fit right.
Because you don't have panties, frankly.
Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Well, we'll remedy that soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, have an awesome today, would ya?
Please do.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you're going to participate in a dance fight, make sure you have room for expressive arm movements. This rules out most bathrooms as a suitable venue. Find Awesome Today and Sorta Awesome Media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and literally everywhere podcasts are found.